Russ Milheim from The Direct. It's great to meet you. Congratulations on the movie, for one.
Thank you.
It's a big thing to be here. Everyone gets to see it.
Yeah.
My first question for you, when making this film, what was your North Star? What was something you wanted to make sure you absolutely, pulled off the way you wanted to for the end product?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I was most concerned with the authenticity of the character's journey. I really wanted, it's a story that's told out of sequence, and I wanted to make sure that the emotional, physical, psychological arc was intact and would make sense if you watch the movie in order. Yeah, that was what I was most focused on.
What would you say was the most unique experience you had on this film, whether that's on set or off set? What is one of those experiences that you've never had anywhere else?
The most unique part of shooting this movie, I mean, I would say the amount that the movie asks of the actors is it's significant.
Yeah.
I think that it was it was a very heavy lift daily in terms of what we had to do physically, emotionally.
Now I have to ask, you're a fan favorite character in Reacher, but we're still waiting for you to come back. What are the odds that maybe season 3 or beyond that you might come back?
I don't have any information about that.
That's fair. Well, then last question, do you think one day we might revisit your story in Scream?
Oh, wow. Also have no information about that.
I'm going to cross my fingers.
That's
All right,
all
well,
I know.
thank you. Hello, I'm Russ Milheim from The Direct.
Hi.
Good to talk with you.
Yeah, you too.
My first question, congratulations on the movie, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
And with this movie, what was your North Star, right? What did you want to achieve, the best you could? What were you aiming for, that you wanted it to be perfect?
I think we that took a couple of weeks of establishing what that was in the best way and the most creative through conversations with JT, but it was really I guess it's hard to explain, but it was the idea of looking at what we'd been seeing in the industry and in filmmaking and in streaming, and trying to do the opposite. And in other words, in the sense, like trying to do what was wrong, and really just going, okay, so this is what it is, and people are going to do with it what they will. And ultimately you have, that's a fight, that doesn't sit well with people who are financing it or whoever, like the first day we were shooting, we were doing, supposedly a horror film, and it was the pancake scene. And we had half a day of just shooting, someone making pancakes and sausages in the studio. It was like, what is that?
What's happening?
And that's understandable, don't get me wrong, but I think that was really sort of the launching pad or the foundation.
I have to ask a related question for you. You're an Avatar.
Yep.
So we have Avatar 3, 4, 5, all coming up.
Yeah.
Where are you on that production journey? Have you finished your work for 3?
Yeah, so we just did, I think some pickups 2 months ago in New Zealand. And I saw a little bit of it, and it's just extraordinary. I can't say enough about it. It's
Have
really
you already
amazing.
dipped your toes in 4 and 5, or?
No, I think there's been a bit of filming on those movies for other reasons, but that I wasn't involved in.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, and one last thing. I'm a huge fan of Sneaky Pete,
Okay,
so I
cool.
just wanted to bring that up.
Thanks, man.
I hope one day that you guys get to continue that story,
Oh,
because
yeah,
I've been
cool.
dying.
Oh, thanks, man.
But thank you
Yeah,
again.
Thank you. Cheers. All right.
Bye. So this movie, right? What was your North Star? What did you really want to make sure you nailed when it came to making sure that this movie was the best it could be?
It wasn't one thing, but it was there were 3 things. It was the look had to be candy coated. It had to really pop and be consistent. So color control, all that. Priscilla Elliott and Giovanni, we focused on that. And then it was an exercise in minimalism. So I wanted to keep it as spare as possible. I wanted to keep cutting pages, cutting dialogue, cutting things, because I wanted it to be compact.
Yeah.
And the final thing was just performances. And that's the most important thing. I knew the whole movie would live or die on these 2 performances, and they had to be great. And so we got lucky.
So final question for you. What was the most unique moment you experienced while working on this movie, whether that's an on-set thing or maybe off-set with coworkers?
The movie got shut down for about 5 days early on in production for a number of reasons, and it was terrifying. We had a lot of challenges in the beginning, and we had to take a pause for a minute because of like external forces, and we almost thought we weren't going to get back into production. And so that was a big challenge, and it was a major learning experience, like keeping a positive attitude and just keeping everybody interested and getting back into production and going even harder. So it was a really tough shoot for various reasons. The crew, the cast were amazing. Everybody we were working with was amazing, but there were external forces that were hard to deal with, and we learned a lot of lessons. We came out better for it on the other side.
Well, thank you for talking to me. For you, what was your North Star when working on this film? What did you want to bring to the table?
Well, I don't know if you overheard what I said to him.
I didn't know.
But I felt like when I read this script, I felt like these two characters were one character, by the way. The husband and wife were like one character, and they were goodness. Everyone says old hippie and all that. They were goodness in the tornado of this. What's going on with this movie? There's this core of goodness, which are these two characters. Also humor, like that breakfast, which should go down in film history. That breakfast, as well as Willa's last scene, that should go down.
You might have answered this question, but I also wanted to ask, what is the most unique moment for you, whether it's on set or off set, that you experienced while working on this film?
What was the end of your sentence?
Say again?
What was the most unique moment? What was the
that you experienced, whether it was on set or off set, while you were working on this movie?
Wow. I don't know. It was unique getting to act with Ed, to tell you the truth, because that was like, I've always followed him throughout the years, and you get to meet someone who you admire and have enjoyed.
Yeah.
And so just being with him and chatting with him.
Well, again, congratulations. And yeah, I look forward to seeing it with everyone.
Yeah, me too.
My question to you is, when you were working on this movie, what was your North Star? What did you want to make sure you brought to the table in a unique way and brought your all to?
I wanted to be true to the character as I read it and as I understood it, but I quickly ceded all control to the wonderful and talented J.T. Mollner. I knew he was good for meeting with him and knowing him over the years through his Aunt Dee Dee. I knew he was very good, but when he started to come up with different ideas than I had brought into the show, I was like thrilled. His ideas were much better than mine.
Yeah.
And the end result is this wonderful movie. I haven't been in a movie this good in quite a few years. He's getting all the he's getting all the praise he deserves.
So then my last question for you is, what is the most unique experience you had when you were crafting this film, whether it's on set or off set? What is that experience that you treasured the most?
The most unique experience is the way I die in this movie.
Okay.
I've been killed a few times, but never like this. It's pretty damn good.
Now I'm looking forward to seeing it. So.
Yep. Destiny calls is all I'll say for my character.
So, big movie here. What is your favorite thing about horror as a genre?
Oh, well, it's the potential to explore emotional family situations. Most really good horror is a family drama that is disguised as a horror film. And that's the good stuff does that.
Yeah. Now, I've heard multiple people ask you Marvel questions. I have a different spin for you. It's pretty specific. Obviously, multiverse and all that. Deadpool 3 just came out with Deadpool Wolverine, and they have a team of these misfits and people that, got discarded from their own movies. Yeah. Did they ever reach out to you about potentially joining, or?
No, I like, who's the guy playing the Punisher now?
John Bernthal?
I like Bernthal as Punisher. I think, for me it was always a little bit of a stretch. Frank Castle is supposed to be an Italian-American. I'm not. I'm an Irish-American. So for me, I had to dye the hair and sort of take on a persona, but Bernthal wears it so well. So I think they should stick with him.
Now you had to come back and you had to be a villain against Bernthal. That would be a fun little twist.
Yeah, hey, that wouldn't be bad. I like that.